I'm very honored and pleased to introduce the Honorable Joe Biden, the Vice President of the United States.
Hello there, Kermit the Frog here, and today I'm going to say a word or two about this letter here. You know what this letter here is? This is the capital letter R. Got that?
R.
Yeah.
R.
Mhm.
Hi-ya!
Wait a minute! Look what you did!
Good evening, my friends. It's Thursday, January 21st, 2021, and welcome to another episode 2 of the Promain Show. Thank you to everybody who tuned in last week to the series premiere, and welcome to the 10 new subscribers to my channel. So you're here with your boy, Philly Phil, aka The Prophet, aka Lost Prince of Lebanon, aka King of Philippines. Now, what we're going to talk about today is something that I think many people have heard of, or maybe you heard it said, or maybe you heard that it was a conspiracy theory, or maybe you just heard something. But you're definitely going to be hearing a lot more about it as the year progresses. And I'm going to show you how credible not credible, but how real this initiative is. It's called the Great Reset. And it's something that's been put forward by the World Economic Forum, led, of course, by Mr. Klaus Schwab. So basically what it is the World Economic Forum is an annual meeting where basically all the world's business leaders and, top elite billionaires, George Soros, everybody, Amazon Web Services, Google, Facebook, all of them, they all fly to Switzerland, to Davos, and they meet there annually. And usually presidents go, Obama went, as I showed you at the beginning of the episode. Mr. Joe Biden went. By the way, congratulations to Joe Biden and the Democrats and all my liberal friends out there for your big win. And I wish that administration nothing but the best. But he has taken helm of a sinking ship. That's just my opinion. He's taken control of what's a sinking ship. So what we're going to talk about today is the Great Reset. We're going to start it all off. Now, I don't want to focus on anything that's hearsay. I'm just going to go straight to the source. We're going to go straight to the World Economic Forum. We're going to see what they say about it. But I'll just tell you right now, it's very, very vague. Okay, it's extremely vague. It's just, big promises, and they're not really getting into the details. And that's a little worrisome because, if this is going to be something that's being put forward by world governments and world leaders, Prince Charles is already talking about it, then we should really get some details, right? So they're meeting this year. They usually meet every year in either January or February, but I think they pushed it to May this year. But anyways, let's not talk anymore. Let's just dive right into it. Let's see what all this Great Reset talk is all about. Roll the clip. So as you can see, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. Okay? You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. That sounds a little bit like communism to me, don't you think? Some of the stuff on there sounds pretty cool, like printing an organ. Printing an organ, it's possible. There's stem cell research, so that's cool. Going to Mars, staying alive in space, totally within our realm of capabilities. We do imagine things first. Cyborgs, we'll get to that later, and all kinds of cool stuff. But when I see that their vision at the World Economic Forum, where world leaders and business leaders and the world's top elite, who you hear so much about, are meeting to discuss our future, and they say that we'll own nothing, you'll own nothing, and you'll be happy. I'm very interested to see what they come up with. But let's see where that's coming from. Let's take a look at something that was written by one of their members who happens to be a parliamentarian from Denmark. And we'll take a look at what they said a few years ago. Roll the clip. All right, so here it is. Here's how life could change in my city by the year 2030. Written November 11th, 2016 by Ida Auken, Member of Parliament, Denmark. All right, so the link will be provided in the description below for this. Welcome to the year 2030. Welcome to my city. Or should I say, our city. I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or any clothes. It sounds like communism. It might seem odd to you, but it makes perfect sense for us in this city. Everything you considered a product has now become a service. We have access to transportation, accommodation, food, and all of the things we need in our daily lives, all the things you need, not want. One by one, all these things became free, so it ended up not making any sense for us to own much. First, communication became digitized and free to everyone. Then, when clean energy became free, things started to move quickly. Transportation dropped dramatically in price. It made no sense for us to own anything. Environmental problems seem so far away. In our city, we don't pay any rent because someone else is using our free space whenever we don't need it. My living room is used for business meetings when I'm not there. Okay, that just sounds crazy. Once in a while, I choose to cook for myself. It's easy. The necessary kitchen equipment is delivered at my door within minutes. Since transportation became free, we stopped having all of those things stuffed in our home. Why keep a pasta maker and crepe cooker crammed in our cupboards when we can just order them? The death of shopping. Shopping? I can't really remember what that is. Oh, I think we can all pretty much relate to this now. Very prophetic from 2016. It's been turned more into choosing things to use. Sometimes I find this fun, and sometimes I just want the algorithm to do it for me. It knows my tastes better than me by now. When AI and robots took over... Okay, let's just go to this part, actually. Yeah, they live different kinds of lives outside the city. My biggest concern, her biggest concern, is all of the people who don't live in our city. Those we lost along the way. Those who decided that it became too much, all of this technology. Those who felt obsolete and useless when robots and AI took over the big parts of our jobs. Those who got upset with the political system and turned against it. People like Philip Romain. Oh, here we go. I love this part. Once in a while, I get annoyed about the fact that I have no real privacy. Nowhere I can go and not be registered. I know that somewhere, everything I do, think, and dream of is recorded. I just hope that nobody will use it against me. All in all, it's a good life, much better than the path we were on. That's right, it's much better to have your dreams and thoughts recorded. That's their vision. All right, and if you want to know about the Great Reset, you go straight to the source. This is the World Economic Forum. This is the Great Reset here. Link in the description below the video. There's an urgent need for global stakeholders to cooperate in simultaneously managing the direct consequences of COVID-19 to improve the state of the world. The World Economic Forum is starting the Great Economic Reset. Okay, so here we have the opportunity. As we enter a unique window of opportunity to shape the recovery, this initiative will offer insights to help inform all of those determining the future state of global relations, the direction of national economies, the priorities of societies, the nature of business models, and the management of a global commons. Drawing from the vision and vast expertise of the leaders engaged across the forum's communities. The Great Reset Initiative has a set of dimensions to build a new social contract. Okay? New social contract. Let's check out their partners. Let's find out who's involved. Okay? This is proof about the people who I say is involved. So I like to do investigations. So here, let's check them out. Alphabetical, starting with A. Amazon Web Services. Right there. Amazon, George Soros. Let's go to the letter F. Oh, there it is. First in line, Facebook. There we go. Hi, F. Hi, G. Oh, Google. Google. Okay, Google. Big tech. C. Let's check out what's under the letter C. And here we have Shenzhou Xingcheng Investment Group, Chevron, China Construction Bank, China Detang, China Energy Investment, China National Chemical Engineering Group, China Railway Group, China Southern Power Grid. That's a lot of companies that perhaps the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, has influence in. In fact, I'm willing to bet that.
We have a golden opportunity to seize something good from this crisis. Its unprecedented shockwaves may well make people more receptive to big visions of change. Global crises like pandemics and climate change know no borders and highlight just how interdependent we are as one people sharing one planet. And as we move from rescue to recovery, therefore, we have a unique but rapidly shrinking window of opportunity to learn lessons and reset ourselves on a more sustainable path. It is an opportunity we have never had before and may never have again. So we must use all the levers we have at our disposal, knowing that each and every one of us has a vital role to play.
The COVID-19 crisis has shown us that our old systems are not fit anymore for the 21st century. It has laid bare the fundamental lack of social cohesion, fairness, inclusion, and equality. In short, we need a great reset. Now is the historical moment, the time, not only to fight the virus, but to shape the system for the need for the post-corona era.
Now is the time to create a new system. Or how about we need a great reset? This guy is something else. Klaus, he's something else. Let me tell you, I mean, from my short-lived experience on this earth, I have noticed that whenever governments and leaders promise free stuff for everybody, it usually ends up being a poor life for everybody. If you want to talk about Hugo Chavez and what he did to Venezuela, he came in promising to get rid of inequality, okay? He wanted to make it equal for all, okay? And so 2 decades later, he turned the very wealthy and prosperous nation of Venezuela into a place that was equally poor for everybody, where they can't even afford to eat, except the wealthy elite, of course. Same thing like Mao Zedong in China with the Great Leap Forward, where he promised that there will be free land for the tillers. Free land for the tillers. Free land. Who wouldn't want free land? As soon as he took power, he killed all of the landlords and then forced people to work the fields. Millions died. 80 million people died under Mao Zedong's China, okay, of starvation right after that happened. The Great Leap Forward was a great leap backwards. Usually things that start with the great end up being very bad, okay? The Great Depression, the Great Recession, the Great Leap Forward, the Great Reset, the Great this, the Great that. Want another example? Let's look to Soviet Russia. 120 million Russians died when Lenin took control and Marxism took control in the Russian Revolution in 1917, all the way up until 1989 or in 1990, whenever the wall came down. 120 million people died under Soviet Russia. Every single place that communism pops its head, the same result happens. Now, I'm not saying that this Great Reset is communism, but it's a reset of capitalism is what they're calling it. And a lot of it sounds a lot like Marxist ideology. And guys, this is exactly what I'm on guard for. And all I'm doing is just looking and showing you what they're saying. I'm not adding my own stuff into it. I'm just showing you exactly what they're saying. So time and time again, we see this example of governments that are promising free stuff for everybody, and it ends up being a total disaster. Okay? Do you really think that the world's top 1% that you always hear them talking about, the 1%, the 1%, the 1%, and everybody's like, yeah, they should pay more. Well, those are those guys. And they're the top 1% of the 1%. Okay? And all those billionaires and all those famous people that they put together, the Yo-Yo Ma's, the Bonos. I really like Bono, by the way, but anyways, different conversation. The Bonos. All of these world leaders that they bring together. Do you really think that they want to create equality for everybody? Including themselves? Do they want to be equal, just like us? I'm all for all of the poor countries, us helping them. I'm all for that. But if you're going to tell me that we have to take a global approach to this, in which the top 1% of the world have to be made to pay for the whole world, the top 1% of the world is a lot more people than you think. Because when the UN says the top 1% of the world need to pay their fair share, they're really talking about a lot of average people. Because to be in the top 1% of the world, I think you have to have a net worth of $80,000 or $90,000. If you have a net worth of $80,000 or $90,000, you are in the world's top 1%. You don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to be a billionaire, but that's what they make you think. Check it out. You probably know a lot of people who are in the world's top 1%. If you're talking about global, which the UN consistently says, the global 1%. That sounds to me like a lot of North Americans, especially Americans. 16 million Americans fall into that category. They're going to have a good time. So we're going to talk now about another interesting thing, which seems to be this push for chips in the brain. Now, I know that that sounds crazy, but again, I'm going to show you what the World Economic Forum has to say about brain chips, brain technology. There's a big push, and like you heard in that article that I shared with you earlier, it talks about, I don't have much privacy, and it kind of bothers me sometimes, but I'm really happy in the long run, and they understand my dreams. They can read my dreams. They know my dreams, just like the Riddler from Batman Forever. And with this type of technology that I'm going to show you right now, which is basically the jewel of this episode, in my opinion, you can see where these reading of dreams might come from. It's a lot like the Matrix. Check it out.
We're going to start the When Humans Become Cyborg session. You know, I always want to be a cyborg. I'm waiting for the day to become one, but let's see. Like today, we like to really talk about the recent developments of brain-computer interface and how that's really blurring the line between man and machine. And that's also opening up many, many questions about social, cultural, and ethical implications of these technologies. And today we have such a perfect, wonderful panel to talk about that issue. And firstly, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm the moderator. I'm Hiromi Ozaki. I'm an artist, also a young global leader from Japan, and I make artworks based on tech and future tech. And to the very, very end, it's Ronaldo Lemos, Director of Institute of Technology and Society. And Ronaldo is a specialist in law and technology in Brazil. And it's Elena Singha, Professor of Neuroscience and Society in University of Oxford. And next to me is Victor Zhao, President of National Academy of Medicine, sorry, yes.
Another technology that colleagues of mine have been using in Oxford is deep brain stimulation. I'll give an example of how that's being used. So this is a neural implant that's implanted deep into the brain, into areas that people think are implicated in whatever the problem is they're trying to solve. It's been very successful, for example, in treating Parkinsonian tremor. But it's also being used more experimentally in anorexia nervosa, for example, and it also has been, it seems to be quite successful in epilepsy. And these So you get an implant and it's attached to a pacemaker device that is just under the skin, and it sends an electric current to the implant, and in that way regulates the area of the brain. And that electric current is set by your doctor. This is actually sort of where the brain-computer interfaces are today. One reason I like to show this picture is to give a sense of actually where the technology is at the moment, which is that it's a lot of wiring. So although we would like to think of ourselves as being able to sort of increasingly adopt a lifestyle where we are continually hooked up to a computer or a machine that helps enhance our capabilities, particularly our intellectual capabilities. So we think about being wired into the internet, getting our brains to upload information. But this represents actually the technology problem, which is we have to solve the wiring problem.
And they will solve the wiring problem, because no matter what man puts his mind to, man creates. And that's why man is dangerous. Now, I understand that this may be the future, and quite often people fear what they don't understand. I do understand that, but I know that it's extremely unsettling to imagine what she's actually talking about, and that is the uploading of information into a cloud, just like when they read your dreams, like what she was saying, the other lady was saying in 2016. So here we have everything I've shared so far has been directly from the World Economic Forum and business leaders and politicians themselves. And there seems to be some continuity, right, between their vision. And that vision by 2030 is a completely different model from what we have now, which is their reset of capitalism, and where everything is free and you'll be happy to not own anything, not even the clothes on your back. Things will be delivered to you by drone. You will have your dreams uploaded to a cloud, and a whole host of other stuff that just sounds absolutely crazy. And I feel crazy for even bringing you this information, but how can anybody deny it? It's right there. It's so real. And everybody's talking about it. Everybody's mentioned this great reset, from Trudeau to just world leaders all over. One thing I want to bring up is this. Was it capitalism that caused the pandemic in the first place? Because all I'm hearing as a result of this pandemic is that we need a great reset on capitalism. We need a reset of our entire system. I think that we do need a reset on the way we treat the environment. I completely agree. When you can see the Himalayas, when you can see Mount Everest from these towns where you couldn't even see it before, when you see how clean the water is in Venice, it's really a true thing. We do need to do that. But do we need to reset capitalism and propose Marxist ideology and what seems to be communism, where everything is free? Was that a result of the pandemic? Is that why this came about? Is capitalism brought the pandemic about? Or was it the oppressive and brutal regime of the Chinese Communist Party that suppressed the doctor who was trying to come out and warn people about the virus? Was it them who lied about it and allowed the virus to spread and get out of the country? Perhaps if they had a full society of freedom, then they would have taken that doctor's warnings seriously and not allowed the virus to spread. So one could make an argument that if that was a free society, then we would have no pandemic, rather than the result of this pandemic is we need to reset capitalism. So what's troubling also about this is I came across this other piece, again, from the World Economic Forum, in which they had Elmo, from Sesame Street. So we're going to play that clip real quick. Let's do that right now. Bring that up for you. And here we go.
Grover. Hello, everybody. It is I, your cute and adorable dog Grover, with a message for listeners of the Great Reset. Well, you are in luck because I know a thing or two about resetting. I reset my alarm clock every morning. But you are talking about resetting the entire world. Now that is a very big job. Well, my friend Miss Sherry Weston and I are here to help. On Sesame Street, we know that it is very important for children to learn and play every day. And because playtime is so important, we have been thinking of ways to help children all over the world learn and play at home. At first, it was hard when nobody could go to school, and I could not visit my friends like Elmo or, well, even Oscar the Grouch. Then we learned to have video playtime, which was a lot of fun and made us feel better. Now, I know you will want to hear all about it, and so I will now let Miss Sherry be the one to tell you. Okay, bye-bye, everybody!
COVID-19 pandemic has...
And so, my friends, in conclusion, I just wanted to bring this Great Reset initiative to your attention in case you had never heard about it before, which I'm sure a lot of people haven't. But now that it's on your radar, it's going to be one of those things that you see a lot more often. And you will be seeing it in the coming days and months and years ahead. The big question is this actually something that will happen? Like I said, they have been super vague on details. They've been talking about this for years, since 2012, where they brought forward something called the Great Transformation. That's how it all started. But the more and more they wrote about things, 2016, and it just seems like this has been always their kind of goal. And I'm really trying hard not to fall into the category in which you think that the global leader planning something. Maybe they're just meeting, and maybe this is just something that they're talking about as a feel-good moment, something that they're just speaking of as inspirational, or something that drives them as business leaders and world leaders, but not actually something that they'll put into practice. One can only hope that that's all it is. But now that it's on our radar, we can keep close eye on it, because my reality is that those who have the power, they underestimate the power of the people and our will to resist such things on a global level. They run into the problems of people like myself who will do anything to fight against it and even lay our lives down. And no, that has nothing to do with domestic terrorism. I am simply saying that I am willing to sacrifice myself to those who would wish to kill me for my belief in freedom. And so bring it on. We are ready for you. So folks, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Time is a precious commodity, and I really appreciate you spending it with me. I hope that I've added some value into your life, and I hope to continue to do that. If you want to support me, please like this video. You can share it with friends and family. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed. I'll see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. Peace.
It's not so bad, Homer. They go into your nose and they let you keep the piece of brain they cut out. Look. Ooh, hello. Hello there. Who's that big man there? Who's that?
Join us, Father.
It's Blake.